This is the story of Kuchisake-Onna, otherwise known as the Slit Mouth Woman. She's a very famous urban legend that dates back to the 1970s, and you will find her in almost every list or top list of Japanese creepy urban legends there is. Now, the story behind her origin differs from place to place and how it came to pass, whether it's a concubine, a samurai's wife. The story I like to believe is there once lived a beautiful Japanese woman, fair skin, vain and self-absorbed, and she was pretty. Her husband, convinced she was cheating on him, and also a brutal man, took a knife and slit her ear to ear, saying, "Who will find you pretty now?" Horrified by the scars and disfigurement and mutilation, she committed suicide and has come back as a vengeful spirit. Now, this vengeful spirit has a criteria for its victims, a sort of a ritual that must be completed. Now, she's very distinct in her appearance. Tall Japanese woman, long black hair. She wears a surgical mask that covers the bottom half of her face. Now, the surgical masks are very common in Korea, Japan, the Far East. They're quite common. You wouldn't think anything else by it. And she'll approach you wearing a beige trench coat and say, "Am I pretty?" If you answer yes, she'll take off the mask and she'll show her slit mouth wide open and scream, "Am I pretty now?" If you say yes, she takes out a huge pair of scissors and cuts your mouth to look like hers. If you say no at that point, she takes out the huge scissors and, I think the story goes, she cuts you in half or kills you unpleasantly anyway. But if we roll back to the start, if at the beginning she says, "Am I pretty?" and you say no, she takes out the scissors and stabs you. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But there is notable loopholes to this. Whereas if you answer the question with a sort of ambiguous answer, like maybe or so, it confuses her long enough and gives her time to think and gives you time to run away. But if you answer yes, no, and try to run away, there's no point. Apparently she appears in front of you and kills you anyway. So there's a bit of a sort of a double story here, you know. The first one is never be unfaithful. Whether she was unfaithful to her husband or not, it's hard to say. But be very careful who and how you compliment somebody. Here's where it gets interesting. I said this story began in 1970s. And it got very common in the 1970s. We're talking there was news articles, schools were sending their children home in groups, extra police were put on patrol because of Kuchisake-Onna. It's not like it was just some urban legend that passed, this was a real threat. It gets funnier. In 2007, in October, a coroner found records dating back to 1979 in which showed a woman chasing kids who was hit by a car. And when they approached the body, she had a slit. Her mouth had been ripped open from top to bottom, which fit the description of the slit mouth woman.